Hey, hope you guys are doing well. So coming back with another video. So we're staying on the theme of, talking with the Gentiles or non-Israelites about why it's important to know who the Gentiles are. For the next couple of videos, I'm going to be doing readings out of the book of Judith because it has a lot of themes that I think are really important, not only for the Gentiles, but for all of us. So specifically, just to call it out, it has themes concerning like the Antichrist, messages, or what I believe to be examples or templates for the Gentiles, things that the Israelites should remember, and then things for everyone. So the book of Judith is great, so I want to plug it. I've plugged it before, talking about women. But if you don't want to listen to me talk, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you read the book of Judith on your own. Just take some time and read the book of Judith on your own. Okay, but for this, we're staying with the theme for now, just with the theme of Gentiles and then other stuff. So I did want to call out, coming off of the tail of the last video, I wanted to share some examples because we talked a lot about what Gentiles need to remember or why it's important for them to know who the Israelites are today, like in modern times. So I thought it'd be great to just share examples. We talk a lot about what it's not, but I think we should talk about what it looks like, right? And that's coming out of the book of Judith as well. So just a friendly reminder that if you are a non-Israelite, if you are an Israelite or a non-Israelite, a good examples out of the Bible of what it looks like what it actually looks like to be a righteous, set apart Gentile or non-Israelite who, acknowledges the Israelites. Some good biblical examples that you want to check out on your own are Rahab. So you want to read the story of Rahab. You want to read the story of Cornelius, and you want to read the story of the Phoenician woman. I think that's the Cornelius and the Phoenician women out of the New Testament. Rahab is out of the Old Testament, but those are great examples of what it looks like to be a set apart Gentile who, works and helps, acknowledges the Israelites, acknowledges their God and does it in the correct way. So, those are some good stories that you want to check out on your own time. For the purpose of the next set of videos, we're going to be talking about, I'm going to butcher the name, Achior. I'm just going to say Achior. I literally don't know if that's how you pronounce the name, but that's what I'm rolling with. So we're going to say Achior out of the book of Judith. And I wanted to share this because I think that this story is a great example of what it looks like to be to be on the road of being a righteous Gentile. So just some examples, and I wrote them down. So examples of what it should look like is, one, as a Gentile, okay, you acknowledge Israel, you don't deny it. So just to call out all these people, Rahab, Cornelius, the Phoenician woman, Achior, they had to acknowledge Israel, right? So what it looks like is acknowledging Israel. It's not, not acknowledging Israel, saying stuff doesn't matter, all these things. It's none of that. Like these set apart Gentiles that should be, if you are a non-Israelite, these people should be your template. You want to watch, that's why we're doing this. You want to look at what they did. They did not acknowledge Israel. They acknowledged Israel. They stood with Israel. So when times got tough, they stood with Israel, especially Rahab and especially Achior, like you'll see as we talk about it, but they stood with Israel when times got tough, and they blessed the God of Israel. This is important. Blessing the God of Israel in this sense and context as a Gentile is not just saying that you are Christian and you believe in God. That's not really, it's a little bit deeper than that. It's not just saying, oh, I believe in God and I serve God, so I bless the God of Israel. You'll see in these examples, that's not really what it is. It's more about acknowledging the totality of God as it relates and standing with Israel and standing with the God of Israel as he delivers them, as he delivers his children, as he, just is a God of deliverance. You stand with Israel, right? That's what it looks like. And that's why I think I want to again plug the book of Judith. If you don't want to listen to me talk, just go read it on your own. And you will see what I'm talking about, how this is just kind of a great example. But we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it in these next set of videos. So for the book of Judith, the concepts that I'm gonna hit when we start our readings, in a minute, we're gonna talk about how the book of Judith talks about the Antichrist system. If you read it, I think it's a great example of what the Antichrist system looks like. It's also an example, if you're a Gentile, It's an example. Oh, so in the last video, if you watched it, at the end of that video, one of the reasons that I listed of why it's important for you to know who the Israelites are, one of the reasons I listed if you're a Gentile is because your nation will turn against you and you need to start preparing yourself for that. Meaning your nation will turn against you. You are going to have to divorce your nation. Meaning like the nation that you live in, but also your bloodline nation. If you are part of a bloodline nation that persecuted or is an enemy of the Israelites or the God of Israel, you have to start preparing yourself now to separate yourself. Come ye out and be ye separate. And so I talked about that in the last video. It was at the end of the last video. If you can't, go check that out. But for the purpose of this, I'm sharing this because in the book of Judith, there is a fantastic example of of a Gentile who talks about the Israelites in truth and his people turn against him. And so I want to share that story so that you can see what I'm talking about. So that's coming out of the book of Judith. What else am I talking about? Oh, also, I think for the Israelites, just an example of how, the other nations know that if we stand with our God, they can, if we stand with our God, we're undefeated. And then just some other stuff. Okay, so I actually just want to jump into the reading. I won't finish it. So again, I'm highly asking that, you guys, if you can, watch all. I'll try to put a playlist on YouTube, but try to watch all the videos if you're curious. So let's just jump in. Okay, so we're starting out of Judith. And the first set of scriptures that we're going to go over is dealing with just identifying an antichrist system. So we're starting out of the book of Judith. I'm reading this out of the complete 54 book Apocrypha, but you just can find the book of Judith. This is out of chapter 2, and we'll just start. I think it's 2 through 13. So we'll start. So chapter 2, verse 2. So background, this is Nebuchadnezzar. So Nebuchadnezzar was off the chain. So this is Nebuchadnezzar, and he is kind of like saying, he's kind of confessing like what he's about to do. Like he's been, betrayed. And so, you want to read chapter 1, but effectively Nebuchadnezzar is proclaiming what he's about to do. This is Nebuchadnezzar, by the way. Okay. So he, meaning Nebuchadnezzar, he called together all his servants and all his great men and communicated with them his secret counsel and concluded the afflicting of all the land out of his own mouth. Listen, they decreed to destroy all flesh. Okay, they decreed to destroy all flesh which did not follow the word of his mouth. It came to pass when he had ended his counsel that Nebuchadnezzar, the king of the Assyrians, called Holofernes, the chief captain of his army, which was next after himself, and said to him, listen, the great king, the Lord of all the earth, says, behold, you, so he's talking to Holofernes, you will go out of my presence and take with you men who trust in their strength to 120,000 footmen and 12,000 horses with their riders. So they're trusting in their own strength, not the strength of the Lord. Okay, verse 6. And you will go out against all the west country because they have disobeyed the command of my mouth. You will declare to them that they should prepare earth and water, because I will go out in my wrath against them and will cover the whole face of the earth with the feet of my army. And I will give them as a plunder to them. Their slain will fill their valleys and brooks, and the river will be filled with their dead until it overflows. Verse 9. I will lead them captives to the utmost parts of the earth. But you will go out and take all their coasts for me first. So this is Antichrist, listen. If they will yield themselves to you, then you must reserve them for me until the day of their reproof. As for those who are disobedient, your eye will not spare, but you will give them up to be slain and to be plundered in all your land. For as I live, and by the power of my kingdom, I have spoken, and I will do this with my hand. Moreover, you will not transgress anything of the commands of your Lord, but you will surely accomplish them as I have commanded you. You will not defer to do them. So when I read, guys, if you read this, this is an antichrist spirit. And this is important even for the days to come, because we want to start recognizing when governments are saying things that are antichrist. And here, Nebuchadnezzar is pretty much declaring himself as God, baby. Like he's saying, so first of all, if you're not familiar with the Bible, a lot of the language that he's using is how God talks. He's saying a lot of things like he's God. He's saying stuff like, this will come out of my mouth and I declare it for everybody on earth, right? He's saying, verse 10, but he's telling his captain this, but you will go out and take all their coasts from me first. Listen, if they will yield themselves to you, then you must reserve them for me until the day of their reproof. What I thought of was like, he thinks he's God telling people that reserve these people for me, so that kind of like my own little day of judgment. Do you guys get it? Like he's saying, if they will yield themselves to you, then reserve them for me until their day of reproof. So like it's kind of like a little day of judgment. Like reserve them for me until I judge this, right? It's that Antichrist spirit. Like he's God. Okay, then he says, as for those who are disobedient, your eye will not spare, meaning you will kill them. But you will give them up to be slain and to be plundered in all your land. For as I live, and so he's declaring himself on this. This is arrogance. For as I live, and by the power of my kingdom, I have spoken, and I will do this with my hand. That's how God talks. He literally thinks he's God. He says, moreover, you will not transgress anything of the commands of your Lord, but you will surely accomplish them as I have commanded you. You will not defer to do them. So he's saying, I'm pretty much, I'm it, right? I'm God. You, Holofernes, don't defer, don't wait. Anything I command to tell you, you do it quickly. I'm proclaiming this across the earth. If they stand with me, then they stand, reserve them for me. If not, they're dead. Kill them. Anyone who's not with me is against me, and they must be slain. So I'm going to end this here and then just pick back up in the next video. But I wanted chapter 2 through, 13. I just wanted to talk about this. This is point 1, how the book of Judith, it kind of shows an example of the Antichrist. So for us as believers, you want to read this because you want to start knowing, like, what does it look like when there's an Antichrist system on the scene, right? So what does it look like? And it looks kind of like this. It looks like a leader making a declaration across the earth that basically, you stand with me or you die, right? You stand with me or you die. What I say are commands. He's literally talking like he's God. He's talking like he's the God of the earth. And he has that arrogant spirit. And I think that these particular set of scriptures really, they really show that. And it also makes sense. When I read the story of Nebuchadnezzar and he was turned into like a beast, I was like, oh, I wonder what he did to that seems intense. But reading Judith, oh, baby, I see why God punished him, because Nebuchadnezzar was off the chain. he was off the chain. Anyway, the point is, you can find this also an account in Daniel, right? Nebuchadnezzar, like with Daniel, but this is the book of Judith. So that's it. I'm going to end it here. The next video, we're just going to keep reading scriptures out of the book of Judith to stay on this theme of Antichrist. But the next one, we're going to jump into scriptures that have to do with the Gentiles again, and just, things that the Gentiles will have to go through and how that's shown through the book of Judith. So that's it. That's it for this one. But have a good one, and I will see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.